Here is our golf project. So golf involves many movements, but the two major ones involve internal and external rotation. Because it is a full body movement, golf swing requires the use of major upper and lower body muscles, and it's also a multi-joint sport. So injuries can really easily occur if these athletes aren't mobile and if their muscles are not strengthened properly. So our warm-up and exercise plan will aim to get all the muscle groups ready, and they'll focus on getting the athletes loose at these joints and safety being our top priority. The energy systems involved in golf are the aerobic and ATP PCR system. So we need to utilize training that is going to train these systems while also strengthening the athletes because of the multi-movement and muscles and joints. Once we conduct our tests, this will help us to redesign the training parabola based on these athletes' capacities for each of these systems and looking at where we need to focus more in one area than another.
All right, and then exercises that we'll look to include in training include, but are not limited to, the squat and bench press being our core exercises, as that those are both full body exercises and will just make them better athletes in general. Then when we get more specific to golf itself, we'll look at our accessory exercises like lunges, pull-ups, power cleans, deadlifts, and trunk rotations. Now, lunges can be a core exercise if we want them to be, but we'll primarily be targeting them for the hinge pattern, as in the back end of a golf swing, golfers will hinge. And then power clean will train something like being able to quickly explode and be powerful in short bursts of time, just like a golf swing. Trunk rotation will also be prioritized because of golfers creating so much torque and then also having to stop that torque. If unable to stop that torque, injuries will occur.
So the first test that we will conduct is the Y balance test. A lot of people don't realize how much balance is actually important for golf, but you do actually need a great deal of balance to perform a golf swing effectively. So in the Y balance test, they do a lower quarter and an upper quarter, and then they look at the results of both of those. So in the lower quarter, you are maintaining controlled balance while you're pushing a reach indicator, which in the picture are those little plastic looking pieces. You're trying to push them the greatest possible distance without touching the ground. You can't kick or use excessive momentum when pushing the indicator, and you can only push like the side of the reach indicator. You can't push like any other point of it. You can't step on the top of the indicator or the reach poles for more stability. And then the upper quarter is kind of the same thing, but obviously you're in a plank position using your arms. So your feet need to maintain shoulder width apart position. And then for validity, both feet need to maintain floor contact, and your hand that's not reaching needs to maintain its stance on the platform in the middle. And then you need to push the reach indicator without using it for support. So you can't grab it, you can't hold it in a different way. And you can't use the floor for support with the hand that's reaching. This will let us know where athletes are at in their balance and where we may need to incorporate some more balance activities in their conditioning. And then we'll also do a FMS, which is a fundamental movement screening. These are a series of movements that are performed. It's usually just one of the movements or like a couple, and you grade these athletes on a scale, usually from 0 to 3. So the movements we'll do are deep squat, inline lunge, hurdle step, shoulder mobility, straight leg raise, trunk stability push-ups, and rotary stability, because these are all important movements for golf. Usually a score of 1 means that the athlete was not able to execute the movement properly or how it was instructed at all. And then a 2 is kind of medium. Maybe they experience some pain, but they're doing the movement as well as they can. And then a 3 usually means that they're performing the movement as it was instructed and they have minimal pain and everything looks good. So we will use the results from that test to see where we need to incorporate more of maybe some more like squat movements or maybe more lunge movements. The results of that will just be helpful.
Follow that up, we will have the 1 rep max squat test and the 1 rep max bench press test. These are necessary because for prescribing loads for different results, such as hypertrophy, power, endurance, things of that sort, you're going to need to know your max so you can get a percentage. Because say you want to do 3x6, 4x8 for different goals, you're going to need those percentages. And then following an extended warm up, athletes will approach the squat rack and begin squatting. And they'll start with the bar and then add weight. And as it gets more difficult, those loads will increase by smaller amounts because we want to get as close as possible to that 1 rep max. And then proper form will be demonstrated along with what to do in case of failure. So obviously spotters will be educated and athletes themselves will be taught how to properly perform a squat. Safety is obviously always in the weight room, #1 priority. Shout out Dr. Allen. On to the bench press. That will be performed 2 days following the 1 rep max squat test due to them both being full body exercises, and fatigue has been shown from the squat test to decrease the 1 rep max bench press. And we want to get as close to our max as possible so that rest is necessary. And additionally, obviously prescribing a load for bench press is important. And similar to squat, we will go over how to safely spot and what to do in case of failure. Athletes will warm up their upper body, especially the shoulders, get all those joints loosened up because it's multi-joint. And athletes will also slowly increase weight until they reach their maximum load.
And then next, we will also perform a hand grip strength test using a digital dynamometer. We'll do 3 trials with both hands, and they'll have a 2-minute rest between each trial. You could do these tests at various points with the arm, but we're going to do with the arms fully extended at the side while they're standing. And then the highest of the 3 trials will be recorded. So we'll write them all down and then utilize the highest from each hand. We're going to do this because although we're going to train hand grip strength no matter what, because it's very important for golfers, this will help us to see if there's any excessive deficiencies between athletes and maybe where we need to redesign to incorporate more hand grip training, more strength training for that.
Following that, we will do the 12-minute run test. This is going to be done to get the VO2 max and test the aerobic capacity of golfers through submaximal exercise. People may often think, oh, it's golf, they don't need to be in aerobic shape. Well, at the collegiate level, like the athletes we're training, they carry their own bags for 36 holes on day 1, 18 on the second day. So you can't tell me that those athletes aren't going to get tired, their legs aren't going to get sore. That takes a lot of endurance. And this test will take 12 minutes, as the name states, and as far as the athlete runs will be recorded. And this will gauge aerobic capacity in athletes, and depending on how they perform, maybe some athletes are really in terrible shape, maybe some are in better shape. We'll prioritize certain exercise designs and workout designs.
And then our test order, we will do the balance test and then the FMS, the 1 rep max squat and the 1 rep max bench press. Obviously, we're going to perform those with a little bit of a break in between, but following the NSCA guidelines, this is the testing order. And then hand grip strength test and the 12-minute run test.